Live from Monticello, Minnesota, the PBA50 River City Extreme Open Championship round here. I'm Craig Elliott along with Tom Carter on the call. And Tom, we've got 5 really good bowlers. Of course, PBA50 Tour, we've got a Hall of Famer in the Stepladder, which seems like we always do.
Well, yeah, with Norm Duke, you got a Hall of Famer going up against probably one of the hottest hands ever at some of the biggest money tournaments ever, Brian Kretzer.
Yeah, it's going to be a great first match. You said Duke and Kretzer. Kretzer second at the Senior Open this year. He likes that building in Vegas. He's playing straight here. I talked to him before that we started. Something he's been practicing on a little bit, realized to compete in Stepladders and match play especially, he needs to learn to go straight.
And he's doing a very good job of it. He's moved right. It looks like he's standing in the gutter, just a little bit left, but he's playing up the lane. Then that next match against ABC Hall of Famer Lennie Boresch.
That's and winner in the Villages back-to-back years. Won national title this year. It was
got
major.
That magic voodoo roll that he's got. He's fun to watch.
Leaping Lennie, we call him. Another guy who we see a lot. He's got 5 national titles, 3 senior titles, USBC Hall of Famer.
Got the highest record on TV with 1182. Averaged 282 or something of that nature.
They used to call him Mr. 300, Bob Learn Jr.
Yeah, that's going to be a great match. Then going against the guy that's our leading point leader of the PBA50 Tour, Michael Haugen, which has got a hot hand. He just came off of an original win before he came here.
And he's on a mission. He was Rookie of the Year last year, came back, and I think it was his goal to get Player of the Year. And right now, he is the leader. And again, he's at worst going to finish second. He's already got a win in New York this year, and he's just doing his thing.
And this pattern actually plays right into his game, so it's going to be a good title match.
A few minutes left to go in practice. We've got Jen Wilbur down there, our tournament director, doing a fantastic job. We've got a great crowd here at River City Extreme in Monticello, excuse me.
That was good. This facility, this facility is unbelievable. If you haven't been here, you need to come to just look at it. It's incredible.
Duke Kretzer in our opening match. Lennie Boresch, Bob Lord, and Michael Haugen awaiting the winners as we progress through our Stepladder final here at River City Extreme in Monticello, Minnesota.
It's going to be a great day.
See our players getting a few last practice shots in. Good look at Brian Kretzer there, and you can't really, I don't know if you get a view here how much he's drifting. As we saw him early in the week, he was standing, as we said, in the position around there, like on zero board in the approach, and you would have thought he's playing the right lane as much as he used to like to hook it. But he's actually drifting kind of the small wood drift, right? That 15 to 20 board to left. Gets his body open, lets him project it out a little bit, and kind of kill the roll.
Well, I think now, he's always drifted left so he could open his hips up and throw it he had that soft float to the right to play, 5th, 6th there where he could throw it over the gutter. Now he's standing so far right that he's actually walking to square himself up to the lane so he can play straighter down the lane. And he's doing a fantastic job at it because a lot of these patterns out here require us to be much straighter, especially in the early games and on the show almost every week. You got to break the lanes down to the right before you can even think about going left.
Only one national title for Brian Kretzer, but there was a time in the 90s he was, without question, the best amateur in the world.
Well, he was Mr. High Roller. He'd go out to Vegas to the high rollers, and he won one, and he's just an amazing player. He's got tricks up his sleeve, and everybody, at one point, he used to take about 13 steps. He just he started walking, and they were just tiny steps, and it was just a timing thing. And all of a sudden, his swing would start, and he would dead post the shot, and the ball just floated out of his hand and recovered. He never really threw it hard. He always had good revs on it, but boy, can he strike.
Kretzer's been out here for a couple years now on the PBA50 Tour. He's got a lot of experience on the national tour, but he's got to open a match here against Hall of Famer Norm Duke. And if we read all of Norm's credentials, we'd be here until next week.
Yeah, we'd be here for a while. And, Norm is a fan favorite. I mean, when they introduced Norm, everybody went nuts because he's fun to watch. He can play up the gutter, and his next shot might be playing 25. He is very versatile. He's got wrist tricks. He understands ball motion, and he understands how the lane breaks down. He's a tough competitor.
Yeah, we had the discussion in qualifying, where I mentioned I think Norm is the most versatile player we've ever seen.
He is. And to look at him for probably the average person look at him doesn't really see that he's done anything different. But for us guys out here, you can just watch his wrist motion and what he does, and just the way he lines up, and he just does tricks.
But I mean, look at his eyes. The head never moves. Eyes never off target. He's intense.
That's why he hits what he's looking at. He never falls off a shot. He's deadlocked, on his target. And we preach all the time, if you can post shots, you can make shots. It's hard to make a shot when you're falling down.
So Norm qualified 5th. He fell back a little bit in that position round. We see him a couple times this year, a couple seconds. The memorable one to Chris Warren at the Senior Masters, where it was just not a Norm Duke shot in the 10th frame. You think this means a little something more now? You think? He's been second a couple times. He's lost a couple tournaments on fill balls.
Right. He lost 2 tournaments on fill balls, and just untypical of Norm. A split or a bad count out of nowhere. Especially when he started off like that in every match.
Right. Yeah. He's just locked in. So you got to believe this one means. They always want to win, but he's just got to get a win to kind of get past those errant shots.
Like you said, normally we're not talking about Duke until the title match, because that's where he's normally qualified first or second. And now that he's got to walk up the ladder, he might be a little bit more intense this week.
But no, Brian Kretzer, he walked up the ladder at the Senior Open. He qualified in bowled in the opening match and got all the way to the finals. Of course, he had to bowl Mika Koivuniemi in the finals. But he won some pretty good matches there.
Well, he did, but then bowling Mika, that shot just fell into Mika's hand. He had such great loft. He can get the ball out on lane and speed and revs. It was going to be tough to beat Mika anyway.
It seems like we go to a lot of these events and people say, is Mika bowling? I guarantee you all you guys on the 50 tour are glad he's not, because it seems like when he bowls, he just wins.
Yeah, that would be one check that we wouldn't get. Checks out here are hard enough without having every Hall of Famer in the world out here. Anyway, this week we missed out on having Parker because he's with his boys down at Junior Gold, which a lot of people was hoping Parker would be here, but he's got 2 boys that are incredible bowlers, and
very, very good, and they're bowling well this week.
Oh, unbelievable.
Duke starts with a straight. Kretzer starts with a spare. Talk a little bit about Tom. You bowled this week, and we watched this pair all week long. 17-18. 17's a little bit tougher, it seems. Every once in a while, you'll get one that just kind of sparks off the spot and jumps.
It's this pattern. It's the Don Carter 39-foot pattern, and the oil transitions so fast. You think you've got a lot of friction on the back end. The ball actually peels off the pattern, and the next shot, after a couple shots, it carries down, and your break point just gets tighter. And it seemed like on a lot of the pairs, the right lane was played much tighter than the left lane, and it would fake you out. There was a couple pairs for me, I used 2 different balls just because they played so much different.
And you can see that look on Norm's face. He's not messing around.
Well, you watch these guys, they're both playing the same part of the lane. Duke, and I said it earlier in the position round, you watch the guys in this finals, their wrist action is really firm. They're just through the shot at the bottom of the shot. They're really not trying to snap it. They're just going through it to get it down the lane to keep the ball on line. There's enough friction, and they're using high-tech balls. They're going to make the turn. If you tried to help it at all, touched it with your fingers a little bit too much, the ball is hooked instantly.
So it's a 39-foot Don Carter pattern. No relation to Tom Carter, right?
No. I wish. If I had a dime for every time somebody asked me if I was related to Don, I'd probably own a center. But
didn't name it Don Carter Lanes. Right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Don Carter had a brother named Tom.
Well, that makes it even more confusing.
Yeah, it does. Don told me about that story. Tom Carter was actually on that Budweiser team.
Oh, no kidding.
And he passed away unexpectedly, and they put Don on the team.
And the rest is history.
It is.
That looked a little high off his hand, but it laid off. Wow. I don't think that was the release he was hoping for.
Well, he's been throwing one of the new storm balls, the Intense Fire. He's actually got 2 of them, drilled one of them this morning. He's got one where the pin's in the ring finger, which just kind of smooths out the ball. And he's got one pin down with a big hole down to get it to start up a little bit sooner. You had to fight the transition on this because the lanes definitely changed a lot.
We saw that shot from Kretzer. He really just kind of killed it at the bottom. Didn't really put a whole lot on it. Let the ball do the work. Watch this release. Just not a whole lot of turn there. Then we got around a little bit more.
But if you watch it, he's really firm on the down. He's not really letting his wrist cup up too much. Right there, it straightens out just so he could throw the ball down the lane and let the ball, like you said, take it in on the back end.
In this tournament here at the River City Extreme, first one I can remember in a while, all through qualifying, all through match play rounds, not a single 300 this week.
No, that's kind of amazing because the scores were actually pretty high. We did have a 288 and a 289 by the same guy.
Blatcher 289 and 290, I think. Right?
Oh.
One game, both the same guy.
By the same guy. And Don Blatcher is a pretty straight player too, The only really big hook guy that we had in the finals was Amaletto in this last round. And it's just, I think, you can't cover as many boards as he would like to on this particular pattern.
Well, even early on in qualifying, I talked to Mark Sullivan about that because Mark was bowling well. We saw him on one of the camera pairs towards the end of his round, and he had like a 168 game, I think it was, and on the fill ball, I commented, well, maybe you should try something different, maybe jump in, and he didn't. So I went down and asked him, it's a free shot. You just shot 160, so try something. He said, anytime I get it like left of 14, ball just rolls out at his toes. So you have to stay right, kind of soften up a little bit, and not use aggressive equipment.
Right.
So that forced everybody in that spot,
right,
which makes it even tougher.
Well, yeah, and if I bowled Mark his very first match, and he shot 275 at me, and in the beginning, he just soft-handed it, basically open-handed it. The ball went down the lane and turned the corner. But once that oil carries down like that, and it gets a little wiggle down there, you can't move a lot because the ball either check early, and if you move left, it doesn't make it back.
10-pin for Duke, and we've seen a lot of 10-pins this week.
Duke, one of the only players that never uses a spare ball. He has such control over his wrist that he can throw any aggressive ball dead straight. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. Just dead straight. Don't mess around. Don't try to hook it. Don't get fancy.
Take the lane out of play.
Yeah.
Point A to point B. It doesn't take a fancy hook to knock down one pin.
Look at how far Kretzer's drifting here. That's a good 16, 17 boards.
You always wonder how the lane even looks normal because you know that he's standing so far right, his target's over his left shoulder, and the time he ends up is on his right shoulder.
And does the lane look like it's shaped kind of like a reverse C form or something? 'Cause that's how he goes after it. But you can't argue with the result here.
No.
Again, nothing fancy, just down and in.
Yeah, he crossed 10 out to 7 and just let the ball turn in. So we're not opening up the lane a whole lot. You're talking about 3 boards. Yeah, there's a good shot of that. That's that pin down, hold down ball. That one that starts up a little bit earlier and smooth on the back end. It's not going to be real flippy.
Looks to the left, maybe.
Yeah,
Still,
I've seen that
a couple
little
shots. How's he getting away with that?
Well, I was a little worried about that. I seen that hop at the foul line. The approaches in here have been just a little bit tacky, especially this morning, and it rained outside, so the humidity. And you get a little hop there at the line, and you wonder if the ball's going to stay on line because you seen him go forward there and kind of jump a little bit, but he got it off his hand in the right spot.
Got a pretty good high-scoring match so far, opening match here.
Brian Kretzer on a 290 pace if he takes it off the sheet. Duke throwing a haywire. Learned something interesting. Duke always likes every ball with 3/8 positive side. Every ball starts out with 1 ounce and 3/8. Then he puts a hole in it using a 29 bit, 2 inches deep to bring it back to 3/8 positive side. And the hole's on his axis, which is 5 3/4 over. Little trivia piece of information there.
So when weight holes are no longer allowed, what's he going to do?
Well, I guess he's not going to go an inch and ounce and 3/8 over. Well, he can. He can go 1 ounce and 3/8 and never put the hole in it.
There you go.
You're allowed 3 ounces.
You see the flare marks on that ball. That ball's rolling. Not a lot of flare marks.
Yeah, but did you notice where they were at? They were only about an inch and a half away from his thumb and fingers, which basically says he's going pretty much right up the back of the ball. So the ball doesn't change direction a whole lot.
You mentioned the humidity, Tom. There was some time off, right? And you guys pretty well spent 3 weeks in Vegas where it's drier. So that changes your hands. You come here, a lot of rain the last couple of days. How does that affect
Swelling.
not just the approaches, but your hands and everything else?
Swelling. I mean, a lot of guys went through a ton of tape, taking tape out, trying to refit and get the right feel. When you're out in Vegas, it's funny. When I used to fly to Vegas before I drove, my hand would swell if I flew. But driving, it doesn't swell as much. But out there, everything's so dry, your hand actually becomes slick.
Since Norm throws a strike ball at spares, I had to wait for that ball return there, and he'll get back up and focus. But just look at his eyes here. We get a good shot at these. He is just never off target. Steady all the way. What was he looking at?
He stares down every pin like that pin can hear what he's thinking.
Wow, that scared me. I'm never going to dress as a bowling pin for Halloween and walk in front of Norm Duke.
You might get the look.
Yeah, I don't want that look. All right, Kretzer. It's his match right here. Max score 239. Norm Duke. Kretzer, you see spare next 5.
Well, Brian did cut his approach down a little bit. He went from 13 to 7 steps. Have you ever tried a 7-step approach?
I don't think so. No.
In practice, they're real easy to do.
Oh, yeah, you're just kind of going, right?
Yep. It's a great way to loosen up. Just start walking and, the swing drops in, you throw the ball. The lights come on and try it. You can't get your feet to move.
Secret to my game, I'll tell you, is just don't think. Yeah, shut the brain off and just throw the ball, because I get in trouble if I start thinking, so that's why I don't.
As soon as I find that switch, I'll let you know.
Brian Kretzer out of Dayton, Ohio. Norm Duke here in this opening match here in Monticello.
Brian's dead level, and he's hitting 10, taking it to 7. He's not doing a lot of tricks with it, But he's using a ball that does roll up a little bit sooner with the way he laid it out.
A couple shots, I think he's actually created a little bit of area in the fronts, which we haven't seen all week. There's a couple of shots that looked like he didn't get off his hand right, but it didn't matter.
Well, that one, it looks like he almost got around it, we talked about steady heads in that last shot there, that slow motion shot. You can see his head to the side. Totally different posture than what Norm has going to the line. Norm is just so dead rock solid. And if you watch Pete, you watch any Parker Bone, all those guys, and they just dead stick the line. Just right there, dead through it. He sees his target, he sees the break point, and he knows what's going to happen.
Well, he's a very analytical player as well already. He's always tweaking something, checking something, watch. He's the guy that's never afraid to change balls. Even on a 6-7 bagger, he'll change balls if he doesn't see what he likes.
And he's definitely not scared to change zones either.
Right.
Well, they figured out the lane that was giving him some fits there. He's probably wishing he had figured it out in frame 5. Something Norm hasn't done, which I was expecting. He hasn't messed with his tape this game.
That is actually quite surprising, because that's something he's just always fidgeting. Gotta have that right feel.
Oh, Messenger.
Save that one for later.
Yeah, you got this match pretty much in hand. You don't want to waste those kind of shots.
No.
He's in a little bit. He's crossing more like 11 now. 11, 12, out to 8.
You see max score Norm Duke 239, so just
but that's what these guys are
here for Kretzer.
They're great at. They see the transition. It's just a subtle move. Unless you're really studying and watching what's going on, you probably think he's still throwing the same thing.
That was almost the exact same pin carry as a shot before that.
Hey, all he can do is just smile like, I got away with that one.
Again. Yeah. Well, Norm's got to feel a little snake bit there. He was, dropped back a few spots in position around. Now he puts up a good ball game, but Kretzer just, when it's your game, it's your game. He's created some area. He's made good shots, and
He gets these next two, he's shooting 290. That's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. I'm not sure if that's any solace. I mean, Norm could have shot 260 and still lost, but
right.
It doesn't make you feel any better, does it?
Well, no. Norm strikeout shoot 239, which has been those kind of games have been good all week long.
Right.
Just not good right now. So, well, I was thinking he might change balls and just see if something else is up.
Why?
Well, looking down the road,
Sure. How about that? Back 11, 290. Get that man a patch.
290 out of the gate. Well, we said it was going to be a good top five, and it's starting out really good.
I'm surprised to see that high scoring, and we haven't seen a lot of that this week. A little bit, but not a lot. But Kretzer, I tell you what, he's relaxed, he's loose, he's feeling it. But now, you know what? He gets Lennie Boresch, and Lennie's no pushover. USBC Hall of Famer. That guy can flat out bowl. 31 regionals, 4 senior titles, a major this year in the Villages. Actually, back-to-back titles in the Villages, back-to-back years.
Lennie's fun to watch, but like we say out here, he's got that magic voodoo roll. It's you watch his release and you go, that ball shouldn't do that, but it does.
It's repeatable, it works, and he's won for decades. I mean, Team USA, he just knows how to win.
Yeah, he's won at the USBCs, everybody says, well, Lennie's always just played outside, and that's not true. Lennie used to play with the USBCs when we had to get into fifth arrow in doubles and singles. He was there.
Yeah.
He can play in.
And like a Ron Moore, just a very humble guy. Just,
right.
Enjoying what he's doing out here now, having fun. Didn't bowl a lot on the national tour because he was doing other stuff.
How do you not enjoy being out on the PBA50 tour? I mean, this is just fun.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely.
These guys are out here because they just love to bowl.
Well, and some of you guys are just a bit on the insane side about liking the bowl because practice all these games. Then tomorrow you're going to go bowl a regional.
Yes,
and
we are.
Practice for the next tournament.
Yes. Yeah, and we're leaving tonight to drive to Arlington Heights for practice round tomorrow.
See?
Because I'm in the 5 o'clock Pro-Am. And then the tournament on Sunday, then drive from there to Hammond to start the next one.
And there's some guys already there now practicing for the practice tomorrow.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I'm tired just thinking about all that practice.
It's like Ron Moore doing sit-ups.
Yeah, well, he's out in your motorhome doing some right now. Actually, he's just loosening up. But Brian Kretzer, 290 winner, game number 1. Waiting for Lennie Boresch from Kenosha, Wisconsin, here in match number 2. Craig Elliott, Tom Carter. We'll be back with this match here in just a quick minute. Fill up your beverage, grab a snack, and come back for Boresch versus Kretzer.
Going for win number 2 this year, this week. Give it up for Lennie Boresch.
Leaping Lennie, Kenosha, Wisconsin, that memorable celebration you had in the Villages.
That was priceless to see Lennie do that because that's just uncharacteristic.
I mean, he got a good 2 or 3 inches off the ground.
He did.
He got air.
Yeah. Then when his fist pumps, that was awesome.
Back-to-back wins in the Villages. 2 different tournaments formats. 1 major this year for Lennie, the PBA National there in the Villages. Of course, you can check that out in the archives out on FloBowling.
We called him King of the Village people since he won down there twice.
You know what? Move there. Why not? I mean, if there's a tournament there, if I'm Lennie Boresch, I'm signing up. All right, Brian Kretzer, 290 to win last game, but that's over. It's done. It's got to reset now. You get Lennie Boresch.
Yeah, that 290 means nothing right now,
And
especially when you start out with that.
fell off the shot.
He's wondering why he's stuck. He's thinking, there he goes. Yep. Falls off the shot. And a lot of that, for some of us, is if you get your body weight too far forward, too far over your knee.
I know what you're talking about.
And you have no choice. You're going to stick, All the pressure is on your toes. Swinging it out. Hopefully it comes back. He's a little disgusted. He's wondering how all of a sudden you shoot 290 and all of a sudden you stick. What did Lennie do to the approaches? This guy's sneaky. You just never know where.
I don't think we talked about him like all week until now. Here he is in the top 5. Like, where did he come from?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, Lennie's in the finals. Where? What?
And that's a classic Lennie Boresch shot. He doesn't have those big, powerful strikes. They just hit the 1-3 and the pins fall.
And it almost looks like he's got a full roll release. He doesn't, but he's deadly accurate, and we call it the voodoo roll. He's got that little bitty power step. Looks like he's almost stopped in midair and goes through the shot.
4 PBA50 national titles, of course, the major we just mentioned this year in the Villages. USBC Hall of Fame. Also a second in Mooresville. Lost to Brian Voss in Mooresville. So he's looking for his second win of the year, and
that didn't look good. That was left off of his hand.
But that's what we've seen on lane 17 all week. I mean, both players a little high, missed just a little bit, hit it just a little bit too much, and that's what happens on that lane.
You pay the price. And the ball doesn't go Brooklyn. It just goes through the face.
Yeah, hook stop right through the beak, and you just hope you don't have, too difficult of a split to go after.
And then lose count. That's not a good thing. I have no doubt that Lennie will come back. He's throwing an intense. What he just went to, basically the game before the position round, just because he said he felt it had a little bit more pop on the back end. And when you watch Lennie throw, it's not like you see him throw a big hook to have a lot of pop on the back end anyway.
And look at that, back-to-back big force, one for each player. And how important is that count now that Lennie just gave him? That one was 2.
Right. And he's not giving it away as much as he was. And he's a little more direct, and the ball's checking up on him. This is going to be an interesting match because, we talked about it earlier, that this oil pattern, the lanes go through a transition, and when it happens, you get kind of buffalo because you're scared to move too far out of the shot because you'll wash out, but then if you're too square, it goes right through the face.
I mentioned yesterday we were watching all the qualifying in different matches, different rounds here. This, to me, looks like something Tom Baker would have loved.
Oh, I agree.
Just spin it down lane and watch it hook. There's a better shot.
Because the heads really never come into play for Bakes,
Right. And that was the trouble this week, getting it through the heads,
right? That looked well firmer, and he got it out to like 6 down lane. You get too close to that marker down lane, and you're going to pay the price. So he was that out 5-6 down lane.
But just kind of getting the ball to face up, right? Just end over end roll. See a better look here.
There's plenty of back end down lane, and you don't, which is amazing about this place, you don't really have to hit flush. It just seemed like half pocket or even third pocket hits, really light hits. It really splattered the pins around.
Mm-hmm.
So when you know that, do you line up to be half pocket?
Yeah, because then you get a little bit of tug, right? A little.
Not
a lot, just a little.
Something amazing here is Lennie's actually playing them a little deeper through the front part of the lane.
And different ball in each lane, too. Did you see that?
Yeah, he went through an intense fire on the left lane, and he crossed like 12-13.
And that's a pretty big difference in equipment he's throwing, that no rules pearl to the intense fire. And that's a big difference.
Well, he's throwing in just the regular intense and then the new intense fire.
All right. Lennie's got it back. Or, excuse me, Kretzer's getting it back here. That was more what we saw the last game. 11 times.
Well, they always say, the Kegel rule of 31, if it's 39 feet, then your break point should be 8. But if you're watching these guys, they're actually out, 5-6. We always kind of take 75% of that. Seems to be a better number.
Yeah. They're a good guideline, though. A good place to start, right?
There's no matter of facts out here. Oil moves around. Things change. One thing about bowling, you'll never see any two styles the same.
Seven steps. Kretzer, he likes it. Well, the little light mixer can't kick the 7.
Surprisingly, that didn't carry because a lot of that half pocket like that, really did knock out the 7.
Where's this ball go off the pin deck at? Maybe that's kind of the key here. Oh, he just steamrolls the 9-pin.
Yeah, it bounced to the right.
Yeah.
That is totally uncharacteristic. I'm surprised he didn't use his spare ball.
He's one of the guys who usually throws plastic.
Right, he has that red Roto-Grip spare ball.
Yep.
And this is the price you pay sometimes. If you hook it, there's so much friction down lane that it just went dead left. And he thought he had that and realized that he just flat missed it.
But look where that ball hit. This is a 39-foot pattern. That ball hit dirt at like 46, 7 feet and went left.
39-foot pattern, technically you got, 21 feet of dry lane. You got a lot of room for the ball to go left.
Lennie can't capitalize and throw a 3-bagger at him after that open. So
he's throwing the intense on the right lane.
Chance to be in it.
But he's playing them both the same. He's inside around 12-13 on both lanes.
Yeah, he tricked me. I didn't realize they had the same similar cover stock looking on that intense and that New Rules Pearl. There's only, 200 bowling balls out now. It's hard to keep them all straight.
Oh, my goodness. And they just had Bowl Expo, and, every company's introducing a whole bunch, And then there will be another group come out. And,
as soon as the league starts.
Another October, some more.
All right, reset here. Lennie Boresch has a little lead here. Kretzer opened in the 5th. He got a handful of that one. Yeah, that was deliberate. There was some authority on that shot.
So he went to the intense fire because it's smoother for him, and which makes sense. That lane seems to be the jumpier lane. If you get it in the wrong spot, it goes through the face. So he basically balled down on the left lane and using a little bit more kick on the back end on the right lane. Lennie getting fired up. He stared that one down.
He was. He knew off his hand. He peered that one. If that didn't strike, he was going to be not happy. 20-pin lead now. Lennie Boresch here. Match 2 in the Stepladder finals. And maybe score-wise is not good, but maybe missing that is good for Kretzer. He's just going to relax. He said, no, don't get too amped up. Don't get too tight. Just throw the ball.
Well, just that expression on his face.
Right.
He came to that lane. He's kind of like, I can't believe I missed a 7-pin. He's still thinking about it, which is not a good thing. That frame's over. Get rid of it. You get on the approach. You got to stay in the moment. You got to stay right now. The only shot that counts is this one. Much better shot. But you can tell him walking back, he's still going, I still can't believe I missed a 7-pin.
He's going to be thinking about that for a while.
He's probably wondering, why didn't I throw my spare ball at it?
We're wondering the same. So he's not alone in those thoughts.
It's on the rack. It's not like he had to go get it.
It's right there. Right behind Lennie's spare ball. Kenosha, Wisconsin's Lennie Boresch back up here, looking for a double. Found it.
He's got that magic Wisconsin roll.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I think all those guys up there in Cheeseland bowl good.
Is it growing up on like older wood lanes maybe where you got to develop a different release to get the ball down lane? Or?
I think so. I mean, look at Jeff Riggles. And, you get Mark McDowell and Mike Shady, and they were all up there at one time. My goodness.
Yeah.
Some pretty good bowlers. And we got another Wisconsin bowler coming out next week, which is a great player, Chris Gibbons. So, just one more to add to the fuel to the fire.
Striking each shot here for Boresch in the 7th and 8th frame. And he can still keep that 20-pin lead even with the double from Kretzer.
Yeah, he's putting some pressure back on Kretzer, and he's got to perform now. He can't afford to have another hiccup. He turned around like that, and he knew that was going to be 10 back, and now he left one. So he's pretty much put himself in a hole right here.
I see a good look at the release there. Why does he tuck his pinky finger?
Normally, tucking your pinky finger gives you a little more skid through the front and allows the ball to hook a little harder on the back end. And a lot of guys out here do that. And some guys, you know, they tuck it when they need to and untuck it when they want the ball to roll a little heavier. You know, it's always a good thing, you know, to experiment. You can play the same part of the lane, but just changing that little bit in your pinky finger changes the way the ball reacts. Some people say they don't like to tuck it because it hurts their knuckle, but you get used to it. You get a callus there if you do it enough.
It deforms your hand. I can tell you that. Spare for Kretzer, and there's not a whole lot he can do now. It's Lennie Boresch's match to take control of right here, right now.
You know, Lennie, he's sneaky. You know, like, again, he's got that voodoo roll, and he comes up, and it's not like he's revving the living daylights out of the bowling ball, but he puts it in play, and he never seems to really give up the pocket.
Take another look here.
10-pin. He thought it was good the way, and he kind of stepped it up like, okay,
6-pin hits the gutter and stays there.
It's clear white spare ball. Lennie basically just has to mark. Best Kretzer can do is 202 if he strikes out. If Lennie would unfortunately happen to go 9 out, that would be only 200. So he needs a mark. Worst thing you can say to yourself, all I need to do is mark.
Well, and we've seen obviously big fours here in this match. And even Lennie earlier today had a 4 through the face over on 19 and 20. So yeah, when that ball is hooking like it is,
right. And he fell off that shot. And as you fall to the right, the ball's going to go to the left.
And the last shot there, he dead pure to stared it down. This one, not quite so good with the footwork.
And this is not the easiest spare. It can be very choppable.
What was that, Tom Carter?
I said that spare's not very easy, and it can be very choppable. And that happens when I think you rush it. But he's still got Brian in a situation where he's got to throw a double. No matter.
2 strikes, one. Spilly had the big 4 on this one. A 10-pin, a big 4, and 2 strikes for Kretzer on this lane. He's coming up on to finish. All right.
I'm thinking Lennie thought that ball was going to fall back a little bit to the right, and it never did. He needs this one no matter what. And he did that twice last game.
And he didn't take a lot of time. He just get the ball and go.
Yeah.
Watch the pin action here. Head pin goes across, comes back.
Well, sometimes just getting up and going is the best thing. You can't overthink. Study long, you study wrong.
Right, absolutely.
You know, that grip pressure, the longer you stand there, seems to get tighter and tighter.
Bob Learn waiting for the winner of this match. Yet to be decided. Brian Kretzer can strike here.
And then he needs a decent count on the last ball. But this is a must-have situation right here. And he filled it.
Best shot of the match for him.
Right. 7 is a tie. 8's a win. All I need is 8. I'm like the black cat.
So on this pattern, knowing that, do you throw the strike ball? Do you go down? We've seen players before go down the middle. I mean, 8 is not a guarantee on the way this shot has been right now.
I would throw the strike ball. Throwing your spare ball down the middle, that on this pattern could be easy big 4. That was enough.
Oh, what a finish.
Yeah.
What a turn of events
Wow.
here. Big surprise. Lennie Boresch opens in the 10th. Kretzer gets up and punches to sneak by, but you got Bob Learn next. Again, not a cakewalk.
There's no cakewalk the rest of the way out of this place. And I still can't believe, and nobody would have bet that Lennie would have let him chop that, but it's very possible. Anything can happen. Next match, Brian Kretzer up against Bob Learn, the guy that has the highest 4-game record on ABC Wide World of Sports.
11:29.
Average 282.
I remember that. I remember I was in Erie, PA, in the arena.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just one of the memorable events.
This is going to be a fun
in
match.
history.
Lennie Boresch being as methodical as he is, and Bob Learn with probably the fastest feet on the tour.
Yeah, it was interesting. A couple years ago in the Villages, April 6, 1991, I think might have been the date of that. I interviewed Bob on the 25th anniversary of that 1129, and he's like, it seems like it was just a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's one of the PBA50's most memorable moments.
Right.
I mean, I think any bowling fan remembers that show and the atmosphere in that arena.
Oh,
I mean, I can picture it now.
That place was packed too.
Unbelievable. I think Randy Peterson was on that show. I think maybe Steve Hoskins was on that show.
Johnny Petraglia.
Johnny was on that show, right? I mean, all those
and Johnny
guys,
shot 279.
Yeah, and got smoked.
Yeah, because Bob shot 300.
Yeah. But different place, different time. Brian Kretzer is going to take on Bob Learn Jr. here. And it's been a while since Bob Learn Jr. won. We'll talk about that when we come back for this semifinal match next.
For those 4 games, Bob Learn Jr. Playing against Brian Kretzer. Good luck, guys.
I tell you what, I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, Bob is elected to start, which I think is a good move. So you don't have to finish on that lane.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he knows that's a tough lane, as hopefully everyone understands that now. That's just a little bit different. Of course, all lanes are always different, but all week long these players hit this pair, and they're just a little touchy. You can't throw it much better than that.
No, and he's got the speed to keep it on line. He probably throws it as harder than anybody else on the show. And as long as he keeps
does that give him an advantage, you think?
I think on this left lane it gives him a great advantage. And as long as he keeps that back leg down and solid like he did there, he's going to be tough to beat. If he gets going too fast and he rears up, that's going to be a problem.
And we saw that a couple times today. I mean, he uses his torso, his lower body to get that power, but he's got to keep it under control, right?
Why, he just missed way right, didn't like it, and it came back and struck. Yeah, he uses his legs harder than probably anybody out here because he's so fast with them. And we kind of say there's no such thing as fast feet. There's such a thing as a slow arm swing.
Yeah. All right. But
because I see people all the time, they get the instruction, keep your feet slow, keep it slow. Then they get so slow they're mechanical.
Right. Do what's natural.
Yeah. It's got to flow.
Yeah.
Your feet got to move.
That looked left again, but how does it end up? Yep. He knew it right away. Just come over the top of it. Is he just fighting to not throw it out of bounds, or what? Because that is still there.
Well, he's been getting things out when he got back lined up out to 5-6, and that looked more like 8-9 down lane, and that lane is biking up, just barking on the back end, way too hard. And he's a lot softer than what Bob is, obviously.
Well, Kretzer started open the last game, strike first ball, open the second, and ended up winning with 202 to 199. Lennie Boresch gave him a chance. 290 game one for Kretzer. Looks like those high scores are long gone now, what we saw over the last game.
Well, you know, you're talking about Mr. 300 here. If he gets on a roll, this guy knows how to strike a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Look left off his hand again. And just checked immediately. Hit the lane. And
this is going to sound funny, but he didn't look like he was going to the line as quick. And he really hit up on it at the line than compared to the shot on the left lane. He's got the 3-6-9-10, which can be the hardest spare.
well, he's thinking a long time at this. So.
Well, he doesn't know if he's going to hook it or throw it hard and straight, because he has the ability to throw it 100. You know, that's like throwing a double right there.
Yeah. No question. We see that missed so many times. Easier to miss it than make it, but great conversion here for Bob Learn.
Well, yeah, because the back ends are so crisp. If you don't get it far enough right, it just hooks and chops it. But you don't want to get it so far right that it hits the OB out down lane and doesn't make it at all. Ask him for a re-rack. You can see that the 3-6 are a little bit separated there.
Third in New York this year, a tournament that was won by our leader, Michael Haugen Jr. for Bob Learn. A couple years ago on the 52 where he had, I think, 3 or 4 second-place finishes.
Yeah, that was when Pete Weber was on a roll and won 5 tournaments in a row.
Yeah, Pete won everything. And I was surprised asking Bob, the last time he won was that doubles event with D.G. Archer in Hammond, what, 4 or 5 years ago.
That was in 15. We were just looking at that.
It didn't seem like it had been that long since he won a tournament.
No, it hasn't. He's made a lot of top fives. He's got to get the monkey off his back, as they say. He's like snake bit when he gets to the title match. Be interesting to see if Kretzer tightens up this lane. He got away with a shot on the right lane last time.
Fell off a little bit again.
Well, there is a little bit of luck in this game, and I think he's used it on both shots on that right lane.
Well, look, I mean, he's getting really hardly anything on this ball, though, right? So is that how he gets away with that shot?
Yeah. Well, if you look at his hand, he went totally around that shot and by going around it as he was falling off, the ball just held the line. Everybody's taking a re-rack on the left lane. They must not like what they see. They're allowed 2 re-racks a game, and they've already both used up 1. So will they save the other towards the end when they need big count?
Again, that's the 4th.
That's the 4th one.
Wow.
Well, he's got 2 on each lane now. So he just dead stuck, hopped there. Because you've seen him raise up on
stick, or just maybe a little twinge in the knee and just kind of shaking it out there. I'm not sure what happened there. Staring it down. But good timing can bat a stick there. Right? And if your timing's on, that really doesn't affect the ball.
No, ball's gone after he threw it. It's off his hand.
What's Bob Learn thinking after that 3-6, 9-10?
Oh, I think he just got slow. He's going to fire this one a little bit firmer. He did.
No daughter. Yeah,
he did.
Willed that in there since you better fall. You see all those banners. We have 49 titles between all these players on the national tour. You see the banners hanging at the end of the lanes there.
With the one tournament, we had well over 100 because you had Walter and Pete. And
I was like 160 something. That was just insane.
That was insane as many titles are on that pair. Norm, everybody was there.
Learn to stay up a dozen.
He is not scared of that left lane at all compared to everybody else. He's staying aggressive. I mean, he's not trying to fudge it in there. He is throwing it in there.
Well, and that's the key. Maybe just try to play them a little bit similar and stay aggressive on both lanes. Don't try to soften up on one and firm on the other.
Look at those feet. I mean, he just dead locked on that one. A much better shot on the right lane, but he has struck every time. Got away with 2 and then pured 1. It's only a 12-pin match.
Looks like both players have kind of figured it out again. They relaxed a little bit. They got things lined up, not giving the pocket away. And even Kretzer knew off his hand. That was pretty good.
You look at the guys, and if you watch their eyes, I mean, they're looking at their break point. They're looking at the spot on the lane. They're drawing lines in their head. The ball's got to stay on this path to get. That's 5.
Just throw logs everywhere.
Well, and these players are so smart, and he's probably watch and learn too. He's amped it up and keeping it online. Maybe I ought to just throw it a little harder and keep it online. Because it's really easy for Brian to get soft and floated.
Right.
I mean, that's really his A game. He kind of knew that.
Rear it up a little bit, maybe?
Well, he got a little bit farther right than I think he wanted it down lane. And you can see it just didn't peel back. Now, he will throw this probably 100 at the spare. Well, it definitely can't hook when you throw it that hard.
Not at all.
I guess I've always wondered why guys have to throw it so hard at one pin. You know, I understand it's going to keep it online, but you sure got a chance of throwing you off out of whack too.
Because they're mad at it. It should have fell the first time.
Well, yeah, I understand being mad at him.
And because they can.
Yeah, some of us can't throw it that hard if we ran in from outside. Like me.
That gives Kretzer a chance. He's right back in this match. Oh, there's no doubter. Bob knew it immediately off his hand.
That was just dead pure. He crossed like 13 as the arrows out to 7 and just he walked it out.
Yeah, get my chair ready. I'm coming.
Yeah, that split the 8-9. It just kept on going. So Brian with a chance to take the lead right here. One more strike, and he's been pretty good on this right lane.
Slow off his hand. He knew
Yeah,
it right
that-
away. Not a
yeah.
good shot. Act like he's stuck again.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
making that motion. Let's take a look here.
It didn't look like he's
No,
stuck.
not at all.
But it actually looked like if they play that again, it actually looked like he might have overslid.
Yeah, it's looking maybe slipped more than anything, but
Yeah,
still the ball's
well,
off his hand
see,
here.
Yeah, he just slid, and I think he. This might sound crazy, but I think he's expecting to stick a little bit, and he slid. And when your feet are still moving, it's hard to get the leverage on the ball that you want. You know, you can't throw it as hard because you want your feet to be stopped.
So not only not a strike, but also he lost a little bit of count there. Had a chance to take the lead. Now he's down 4.
Yeah, with the spare up, and so if Bob comes back and doubles, he can increase his lead significantly. This is a big shot for Brian. He's much better when he hops a little bit.
You know, and there's players that do that. Right? Well, Bob Learn's doubles partner, DJ Archer.
Yeah.
He always hops. When he doesn't hop, you think, all right, what happened?
Yeah.
And some people, it's part of their timing, right?
Well, you know, your timing in today's game, if you watch players, I mean, their foot is pretty much dead stopped as the ball's going by it. If you're still sliding, you're losing some power.
Sure.
It worked back in the 40s, not so much today. Well, he struck, but I don't think that was one of his better executed shots.
I think he wanted to walk it out, but then thought, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, okay, fine, I will, and it struck. But yeah, not 100% confident on his release.
Yeah, his release is like he was around that, but he's got enough speed on it that held. Because if you look at his hand, I mean, the motion, he went totally around it. It's hard to stop your hand once it starts going. This is a huge shot right here. You got it just a little bit farther right. You know how much strength it takes to hold the ball the way he holds it down and then create. His feet have to go because there's really not a lot of swing there.
Yeah, definitely a unique style, not something you teach too many people because, right, I mean, teaching now is just let the ball fall on the swing. Well, it's already at the bottom of the pendulum for Bob when he starts.
I mean, you got to muscle it. You got to get it started somewhere, right? And look at the players that have done that. Wayne Webb used to hold it down.
Yeah.
Carmen Salvino held it down.
And Guppy do that for a while?
Roger Bowker held it down. Marshall Holman held it down.
Oh, yeah. All right. 10 pin, no problem, Bob Learn. 245 max score, Brian Kretzer. 238 max score for Bob Learn. So Kretzer has a chance to get up here, 9th and 10th.
This could be a repeat of last game. The thing that he can't do, one is slide too much and get soft. That's kind of amazing. He's been kind of like hopping on every shot. He really posted that shot well and got through it, and the ball just didn't make the turn. Instead of getting it out to 5-6, it's more like 8-9 down lane.
I always believe sometimes when you just flat pier them, those are the ones that don't carry. You just almost threw it too good, right?
Right.
I mean, you posted the shot, you hit it where you want. You
There's that
got
spare
off your
ball.
hand. There it is. You're looking for that earlier. So if you're Michael Haugen Jr. in championship match, what do you watch these three matches. Kretzer 290 first game, 200 second game, and now we're both in the 230s. Lanes obviously have transitioned. And he's not a guy that goes through a lot of bowling balls either.
No.
How's he going to attack something like this?
I really believe that he's going to be playing them right around 12, 13 to 10. And
Really that tight?
he's going to play them pretty tight, I think. Wow. I didn't think that was even going to face up at all.
Well, he needs them all. I mean, spare strike for Learn or strike spare. He's 220s. Max score for Kretzer 225. So
That was that half pocket hit, and they just all splatter on the left side. And they don't all have to be in the pit. 5 can lay on the deck. It doesn't make any difference as long as they're not standing. We always try to put 10 in the pit. Split the 8-9. I just want a strike.
somehow get 10. Looked a little slow. Well, all right. How about that flush?
That was dead pure.
Yeah.
This one for 225. So Bob needs good count, Mark, good count. He doesn't really have to strike to win this match. Wow. That was way in compared to the rest of them.
He did it again. He stuck on 10th. He's at least going to force Bob to show up. And like we've seen multiple times today, the split is out there. Big splits are out there.
Obviously, the nemesis to everybody is getting just a hair soft because there's enough friction on the back end that the ball's going to go through the face.
And I tell you what, Tom, I know Bob started so he can finish on the right lane, but I think now he'd probably rather finish on that left lane the way he's been throwing it the last couple of frames.
Well, he's attacking the left lane. He can throw it at the left lane. Here, I don't think he can throw it the same way. And that last shot on this lane, he left that 10 pin. Oh, does he like that?
Giving it to business. 8 pins in 2 shots. Bob Learn will take on Michael Haugen, but it's still not over.
It's not over. It's never over till it's over. Yeah, that ball turned. Yeah, he knew that.
Oh, he's talking to it too.
It was like if it didn't go down.
He's going to run down, throw a shoe at it, take his shirt off.
Rip his shirt. Oh, that looked like he almost slammed it into the floor, but he got away with it.
Well, it's a
That's
winner.
enough. He's a winner. He's going on. He's shaking his head like, I wasn't so sure about that one.
Well, Kretzer 202 wins the last game, 225, not enough to win this one. Bob Learn Jr. will advance to the championship match and take on Michael Haugen, who is the hottest PBA50 player.
Right now. He's super hot. He's not even. He's hot.
238 for Bob Learn Jr.
That was a great match.
It was. Fantastic match, but I'm going to tell you what, we're going to have another great match coming up next. Bob Learn, Michael Haugen for the title here. River City Extreme Open in Monticello. Craig Elliott, Tom Carter back with this championship match next. Stay tuned. Final preparations here. Championship match, River City Extreme Open. Extra frame live on FloBowling. This is the place right now. We're about to award a national title for that right there. The inaugural River City Extreme Trophy.
Nice trophy.
Good looking trophy there. Everything nice to be on anyone's mantle. And I think somebody's trying to grab the trophy right now. But, you know, you got to earn this one. You can't just get up there and take it off the table.
You get the Pepsi Cup too?
Sure. We'll give him the cup. John Weber. How about the work that John Weber does? And we saw Linda Carter there, your wife. Those two run a tight ship here and do a ton of work for the PBA and here on the PBA50 tour, and we can't thank them enough.
She does get the scores out pretty quick. Huh? Guys come up to me and compliment her all the time to me on how fast the numbers get up.
There we go. Bob Learn Jr., Michael Haugen Jr., championship match. Craig Elliott, Tom Carter on the call. And prediction, I don't want to make you pick a person, but what do you think scoring pace we're going to be here?
I think we're going to – uh-oh. Something happened.
Got to switch the arrows. Yep. We're going to switch the arrows up there. It's Michael Haugen. Thank you for doing that. Great job. What a guy.
You know, unfortunately, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you got your mindset and you're ready to start and everything's going that direction and then that happens, you got to get refocused and right back into it. I mean, obviously these guys are the greatest, but still, that's tough to do.
Well, last match, Bob got to pick where he started. This match, Haugen did, and he's going to put Bob on the right lane to finish again, which Bob, he struck all 3 times in the 10th on that lane.
Yes, he did.
Question that at all?
Maybe he wasn't paying attention. But Bob's playing the left lane 3 boards more than the right lane, which, you know, we said he's throwing it way more aggressive on the left lane. He's throwing a nasty roomer with the pin drilled out in his ring finger. He put some 2,000 on it just so it slows down on the back end. Obviously, you can see what Michael's throwing. Label right there. He's throwing it intense.
And he strikes, and we've said before, Haugen is the anomaly out here in tour. He doesn't throw just one company. He's got a variety of stuff. But to me, that seems, especially when they get as tough as this, a little bit more difficult to make that progression.
Well, all the ball companies, we all got different cores and different cover stocks, and he's using 2 different balls. He's using an idle pinned down.
Not just different, but really different.
Yeah, that's way different. And he played now on the right lane. I said he was going to play around 12 to 10, and that's where he played. But here, he's actually moved right.
That looked like 10-8, 9-8 type
yeah,
thing there.
On the tough lane. Spare shouldn't be a problem with him. He's a phenomenal spare shooter. And he likes playing right. If there's enough dirt to the right, he'll use that thing to strike.
Haugen, a winner this year already at the Johnny Petraglia BVL event out on Long Island. Last year's Rookie of the Year, U.S. Open winner for Haugen, but Bob Blair, he wants to get a win. It's been a while.
Yeah, he's
2015, and he wants it really bad.
And he's going to go for it. All he's got to do is stay aggressive on each lane.
And he was aggressive. I like that. He was much more aggressive on that right lane, like the left, and I like that a lot.
I went down and talked to him. Like I said, he's playing the left lane 3 boards more. He's really worked on keeping that back leg down, staying solid at the line. If you've seen some of his matches earlier, he was popping up with that back leg and just really overrunning to the line. He's got this little hitch. You know, watch his knees kind of like pop, then he goes. Pop. There he goes.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Somebody's cell phone just went off.
A phone or a game. I'm not sure what that is, but
yep.
It definitely got him. Oh, yeah. Yep.
He didn't even know what he left.
You got to shake that off, though.
Well, yeah, in that match that he shot the 11-29 in, wasn't there a rethrow in that match because somebody leaned over on the lane? And
I'm not sure.
I believe there was. And they used to get, if there was interference, that was interference. Now they took that out of the rules.
So, we mentioned all the work that John Weber and Linda Carter do, but, you're kind of double, triple duty. We got you here in the booth. You bowled the event, but you're repping for your company there. And so what do you say before the matches? You don't necessarily need to talk to Bob about what ball we're to throw, but what the conversations you have with your players in this situation?
Well as Bob's been bowling, I went down to him. I said, man, you're doing a fantastic job. You're keeping the back leg down. You're staying aggressive. Don't change a thing. And I just asked him how he's playing the lanes, and he said the left lane is 3 more. And I said, don't change your mindset. He goes, I've been working on it for the last 3 weeks, really working on this. I said, keep doing what you're doing. Being a player services rep for Brunswick, Deviate, and Radical, and I get to work with Walter and Parker and Bob.
You don't get a chance to really tell them much, do you?
Walter and we kind of go round and round. Parker's,
Walter, make your spares. Okay.
Yeah, that's tough. What's your spare percentage over 30 years? 98.9. Shake it off. But guys ask me, you mean you got to lay out balls for guys to bowl against you? I go, yeah, I do.
Well, apparently you're doing too good of a job, so you might want to lay off a little bit on that.
I enjoy what I do.
Here you go, Walter. Here's a bottom weighted with 5 ounces side weight. He'll still strike with it. So
he'd still strike with it.
And Haugen Jr. is still striking 2 balls on different lanes, 2 totally different balls, different layouts, but he's making it work.
Well, now we got a situation if they both go off the sheet, 280 to 278, and that is really going to upset Bob because the guy with the phone.
Yeah, well, hopefully everybody else learned to. Well, I better check mine right now too because I don't want to be that guy.
Mine's off.
Okay, I'm good. Reared up on that one. You knew it.
Well,
he provided commentary for us on that one. You heard him say,
see the back leg? When that back leg comes up, things go wrong. And now I think the phone is in his head.
Yeah, that's not the Ronnie Horton trail leg up, but it was up quite a bit for Bob.
Ronnie Horton's trail leg's over his head. There's a difference.
He's halfway through the Fosbury flop.
I don't know how you bend like that. That just looks hard to do. Bob's got to regroup, come back, because obviously it didn't bother Haugen. He wasn't up, so.
No. It's unfortunate, but he's professional. He's a Hall of Famer, USPC Hall of Famer. He's been in his position before, and you know what? It's one frame at a time. You just got to let it go. Easier said than done, obviously.
Well, it is. I mean, we preach that all the time, but, man, it is really tough, and he's going to take a re-rack. No, I'm surprised. He looked at that pretty tough. And the bad thing about it, if you think you need a re-rack, you better take it because that's in your mind too. Oh, that's way right. And it
What are
came
you
back.
talking about?
Oh,
Don't let him hear you say that.
that was way right. That was like 15-6. And okay, I got nothing.
That's Bob Learn.
Yeah, but see, that shot was much better. He was solid on that.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's a little on the fried side. And this is something, you watch Michael Haugen. He bowls with rubber on his left foot. He doesn't slide. Approaches don't come into play. I just wonder how long that knee will take that. I mean, that's just...
So far for 51 years.
Yeah. Yes. He is the youngest player in our field. Learn being 56, and Lennie was 56. Kretzer was only 52, and Duke was 54.
But we can watch him, maybe on the next replays, watch his footwork. It's heel, toe, heel, toe.
It is. Well, you're not going to shuffle. You got rubber on both feet. I mean, I used to throw and practice sometimes in tennis shoes, but you'd always...
How many knee surgeries have you had?
1 knee replacement, 3 surgeries on the one. Other than that, it's
there's
fine.
your lesson. Don't practice in tennis shoes, Tom Carter.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the tennis shoes that ruined my knees, but it was a nice thought.
A little back and forth here. Haugen trying to get back, stay in the lead.
He is really just piping that right up 10 on that right lane.
He tightened up after that last shot over there.
It's kind of funny what he sees to what Learn sees. Learn moves in and opens it up, and Michael is just going to stay right up the back of the ball and keep it on line. Well, Bob's got a chance to get back in the lead here. You watch Bob put his fingers in the ball. I mean, he really digs that ring finger in. And it's deep. Maybe it's just the way that sounded when it hit the lane, but it sounded like he lost it off his hand, and it almost like a double bounce, but he got the effect on it.
See right here.
It did double bounce.
It did, which I think probably helped him because it was a little high anyway, so that double bounce killed the roll a touch.
Well, they can't hook
Kept
when
it
they're in the air.
No, not usually. If they do, then, well, you're in trouble. What a championship match. River City Extreme Open here in Monticello. Inaugural event up here northwest of Minneapolis. Bob Learn Jr., Michael Haugen Jr.
Beautiful facility. If you haven't been here, when I walked in here Friday, I went, oh my gosh. Oh, he's wanting that. He's back in the groove again.
He's got that look.
Yep.
He's got the look. That distraction earlier fired him up.
It's funny.
He's to his advantage now.
You got 2 different players. Nice little footwork there.
Go out dancing later.
Playing the lanes totally different. It's just amazing how players see the lanes,
Well, and good lesson for the novice players who are watching at home here. Extra frame on flow bowling is the lanes are different. Every lane is different. And you have to play them different, but a lot of people don't, right? Yeah, you bowl league, you find, I'll just throw them the same. Well, that's why you average 160, 170, because you don't see that.
No, and at league, how much do they change? In some places they change a lot. We bowled here in the Pro-Am, and they used the league shot here. Holy cow.
You like that?
Have you seen the board over there?
No.
Like 800, 800, 800, a zillion of them in threes. They got a pretty soft shot here, and it strikes a lot.
Well, a lot of strikes so far this match. 5 for each player. 12-pin lead for Bob Learn right now. Michael Haugen, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's down 8 pins. Michael just dead up the back of the ball. Ball doesn't change direction a lot when you're just right up the back of it. We'll watch a little knee kick right here. We'll start. Doink. I notice way too much stuff. I don't know.
Can we get those little symbols like the Dime Monkey has and put them on there and just hear the psh before he goes?
I got to quit watching stuff.
Well, I saw a strike is what I saw. Mixing them up, that light mixer we talked about earlier, go with that light pocket head. Don't try to jam it in there because that's 4-pin, 10-pin. Light pocket carries nicely.
That light pocket in this place really scatters pins. You know, and I've had people, I want to get in the pocket. If I'm striking and doing half pocket, I'm going to stay there.
The name of the game is knock them down. Doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah, that doesn't show how you knocked them down up on that score sheet. He's going to like that.
Oh, wow. He liked it immediately off his hand.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of a turn of events right here. He's seen it going. And that almost was a 7-10, and that's a little disheartening when you think it's pretty good and it hits the pocket and goes, ugh. This is definitely a must-fill situation here. And he's just got to hope that Haugen doesn't strike the rest of the way out.
It's a 10-pin, no problem. Michael Haugen go 259. He can get up here and win this match, win this championship right here in the next 2 frames.
That will definitely probably lock him up for Bowler of the Year if he wins.
Oh, we still got quite a few tournaments to go, but he's definitely going to have a commanding lead. His second win could be the only player with 2 wins.
Well,
leading the points.
Leading the points. You might not think about it, but 51 to 56, 5 years on the rest of the players in the field, that's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, and he's come out this year focused, too, right? And his goal is to come out and really win and dominate, and he's shown he's had some really, really good events so far. He's been in the mix several times. That looked left off his hand, but
I thought that was left off his hand too.
Left in the right spot.
He was 12. He was right on top of 10. It almost looked like 11, but it held. Ball never really tried to change directions. He's thinking about this. It's not like he hasn't been in this position before. Did he throw the last 5 or 6 against Chris Barnes to win that title? He was 51 pins back.
Give him a chance to lock it up. That was solid. One of the best shots we've seen this game from Michael Haugen Jr.
That was just plain 10 back. There was no doubt about that. He just needs good count on this.
Yeah, 9 on this shot locks it up. 246 possible. Bob learned his max score.
We've seen stranger things happen. But as direct as Michael is, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. Ooh, that was inside.
A little short, yeah.
That was inside.
Short. And what is that, 8? And the 7, 8, 8. All right.
8.
All right.
That was left. I'm surprised that didn't split.
Well, 8 spares, 247. Max for Bob Learn, 246. And we've seen this spare chop. Remember, Lennie Boresch chopped this. He let Kretzer get up and punch in the 10th and take the win.
He has to pick this up. And he did.
All right, there's our champion, Michael Haugen Jr., second win of the year. Bob Learn will finish things up, and he's very fired up. He's upset. Let one slip through, you think?
Well, the third frame didn't help him when the phone went off. I know he wants that shot back, but this is a real tough loss for him.
He'll get up there, finish it up like a professional. Get a great round of applause from the crowd. Not what he wanted. It's been 3 years since Bob's won. This is, 4 or 5 second place finishes at least since that. And a little dejected.
Yeah,
upset, but
he's
can't be disappointed with the tournament, though.
No, great tournament, but, you know, these guys, they want to win, and they want it bad.
Yeah. We'll get down there. We'll have a talk with our champion here as Bob finishes up.
Bobby's got 2 more shots. I'm sure he's going to finish it out in style to 246. Craig Elliott will be down on the lane with the interview with Michael Haugen coming up right after Bobby throws his final strike shot. This has got to be an extremely tough loss for him because he pretty much thought he had the match in hand, and I think he did. And an unfortunate turn of events with the phone going off in the 3rd frame. And he strikes out 246, 247. For everybody out there, thanks for watching the PBA50 here at River City, the Extreme Open in Monticello, Minnesota. Congratulations to Mike Haugen, this year's winner on the inaugural event. We will be cutting down to Craig Elliott down on the lanes with the interview with Michael Haugen. Until next week in Hammond, Indiana, we will be there. For Tom Carter and FloBowling, we'll talk to you next week.
Well, thank you, John Weber. Congratulations. Bob Learn, 2nd place, finished nice bowling this week. But Michael Haugen Jr., our winner here, the inaugural event, River City Extreme Open here in Monticello. Congratulations, Michael. Come on out. Rookie of the Year last year, 2nd win here this year. You've got a major, another title. You won in New York. Talk a little bit about the win this week and what was your secret?
Maybe getting lucky was my secret. I mean, I bowled good yesterday and the day before. I mean, I was in the hunt. I got the 2 buys. That's what you want to do. Today my ball reaction was pretty good. I didn't lose any matches. I tied one and I went 4-0 or 5-1, whatever it was. You know, that was good. I think having some ball speed helped. You know, Bob got a terrible break, that phone ring in his 3rd frame, and I mean, that's just one of those things you can never count on that. And then, you know, he put himself in the match, put himself right there, and then I had a chance to win it the right way, and I, you know, of course, didn't want to do that. So luckily that 8 count was 8 instead of 7 or 6, or you could be talking to Bob instead of me. So I'm a little fortunate today.
Well, great words, very humble, but you got the win, your 2nd win this year. You came out focused this year. We've talked in the past. Obviously, as John said, you are leading right now points player of the year. What would that mean to you to stay on top at the end of the season and get that?
I'm trying not to focus on that. You guys are all doing the focusing for me. But, you know, let's be real. I mean, we all want to win player of the year out here. It's what we bowl for. We bowl to win titles and we bowl to win player of the year. So, you know, if this is a conversation we're having at the end of the year, I'm going to be very blessed and very grateful, but I'm going to bust my ass and continue to work, and, you know, I'm going to make them earn it, whoever, you know, tries to get close enough to take it. Just, you know, keep doing what I've been doing, one ball at a time, and, you know, just trying to read the lane and make good choices. And, I mean, you know, today 2 different balls on the pair again, and, you know, it was the right choice. So if I, you know, keep making good guesses and keep executing good, you know, making good shots, then, you know, hopefully I'll keep getting good results.